Hey guys, welcome to another CreditVerse video. If you watch this channel, we talk about rewards cards all the time, but cashback cards never really get any love. So in today's video, we're going to break down the differences between these two types of cards, and maybe help you decide what's best for you. We'll start with a basic overview of each, and then the importance of choosing the right one for your personal spending, and then some of your goals. Let's first start off with cashback cards. Cashback cards are exactly what they sound like. You earn a percentage of cashback on your everyday spend. And this is the main benefit of cashback cards in our opinion. You earn cold, hard cash, and as we know, nothing is really better than that. This leads us to the next main benefit of cashback cards, how simple the rewards program is. You don't have to spend time researching what the best transfer partners are, or how to find the maximum value out of your points. You can just take your cash back and redeem it for whatever you really want. The last main benefit is lower annual fees. Now, while many of the best cashback cards still carry an annual fee, they pale in comparison to the $600 or $700 annual fees you see on some of the top-end rewards cards. Even if you're looking for a card with no annual fee, there are some no annual fee cashback cards that are actually pretty solid, and we'll talk about these in just a second. Of course, nothing is perfect, and there are some drawbacks associated with cashback cards. One of which are lower rewards. So unfortunately, since banks need to hand over the cold hard cash to you, they can't really offer you 10% back on groceries and dining like you see on the American Express Cobalt card once you factor in the fact that you can redeem its rewards at 2 cents per point. That being said, there are a handful of cashback cards that earn you elevated rewards on much of your everyday spend. Next, as cashback cards tend to be a lot less specialized than rewards cards, they don't really offer many of the same perks. Some cards force you to get at least $25 or $50 in cash back before they let you redeem, while others only give it back to you about once a year, like the American Express Simply Cash or Simply Cash Preferred. It's important to do your research before you actually apply for one of these cards because you don't really want to be stuck waiting a year to redeem your hard-earned cash back. One of our favorite cashback cards is the American Express Simply Cash Preferred. This card received a revamp in September last year, and now earns 4% back on groceries and gas, as well as 2% back on everything else. Even though it is a cashback card, it has a pretty respectable travel insurance suite that consists of out-of-province or country medical insurance, flight delay insurance, baggage delay insurance, hotel burglary insurance, lost or stolen baggage insurance, and $100,000 of travel accident insurance. It also has car rental theft and damage insurance, which is a pretty common thing to have. Another welcome addition here is the mobile device insurance, which covers up to $1,000 in the event of loss, damage, or theft to your mobile device, provided you fully charge or finance the purchase price to your Simply Cash Preferred. Now, this card comes in at an annual fee of $120, billed at $9.99 a month. If you don't like an American Express card, another really good card we'd recommend is the CIBC Dividend Visa Infinite. It offers 4% back on gas and groceries, 2% back on dining, transportation, and recurring payments, and 1% back on everything else. It does come with a few insurances of its own, like mobile device insurance and car rental insurance, among a few others. And there is an annual fee of $120, but the first year annual fee is waived. Now, if you don't really want to shell out an annual fee for a cashback card, the Rogers World Elite MasterCard is a pretty solid pickup, earning 1.5% on all transactions. If you want something even simpler than that, you can pick up a 1% cashback card from pretty much any big bank in Canada as a pretty solid starting point. And then later on, if you decide you have more access to perks, you can move up the ladder to maybe a rewards card or a higher end cashback card. Now let's talk about rewards cards. They can sometimes be a little bit more complicated than cashback cards, but it's pretty easy to follow along. Rewards cards earn points instead of cashback on your everyday spend. This can be in the form of a bank's in-house points currency, like membership rewards or TD rewards, or also frequent flyer miles like Aeroplan or WestJet rewards. The main benefit here is that there's so many more rewards options. Oftentimes you can redeem for cashback at a much worse rate, and that's something we wouldn't really recommend. There's also some merchandise you can buy, like 220,000 American Express points for a blender, which again, probably isn't the best value, but the travel is really where you can get the best value in our opinion. You can gain access to some aspirational travel experiences, like flying Etihad's first class on their A380, which usually costs about $10,000 or $15,000 for a fraction of the price. And this is something you'd never really be able to get with a cashback card. The earn rates on rewards cards also tend to be much higher than those on cashback cards, as the bank buys points at a heavy discount from many of the airlines and give those to you as opposed to just giving you cash that you can use to spend on whatever you want. An example of this would be on the American Express Cobalt card, where you earn 5x on grocery and dining, which equates to about 10% back if you just redeem for travel. Of course, this all comes at a price. Rewards cards have higher annual fees than many of the cashback cards because they offer you more perks, and therefore they expect they can charge you a little bit more for those. The most expensive publicly accessible credit card in Canada would be the American Express Platinum card at $699, but the most expensive cashback card is only about $140. Also, as we mentioned, it is generally much more complex to find maximum value out of these points, because if you redeem at cashback, you tend to get a really bad earn rate. Sometimes you can spend hours and hours trying to find optimal value to really get that like 10% back or 20% back or whatever the case may be, whereas with a cashback card, you can just redeem it for cash and then go buy a camera with it. Of course, once you do a little bit of practice and you've gone around the block, you do find it pretty easy to get these 10 or 15% earn rates, but that does take some time. The last main drawback is that all the rewards tend to be towards travel or lifestyle focused people, and if you don't do either of those two things, it may not be the best value for you to get a rewards card, as the points are just going to sit in your account forever. Some of our favorite rewards cards are the American Express Cobalt card, as it earns 5x on dining and grocery, as well as a high earn rate on pretty much every single other category. If you're looking for a card with more travel perks, maybe the American Express Platinum card is the way to go. There are also a host of other really strong cards, like Aeroplan co-branded cards from TD, CIBC, or American Express, or some of the big 5 banks' in-house points currency cards. If you do a little bit of research, it's pretty easy to find what you think is the best card for yourself, as there are so many options. Now, before we try to help you guys decide what the best card is for you, we do invite you to subscribe, as over 64% of you still haven't, and it helps out the channel quite a lot. The first thing to do when deciding between a cashback or rewards card is just really outlining what your goals are. If you're like me and you really love to travel, then it's pretty easy to decide. A rewards card is almost always going to be best. Although if you're more than happy to just earn cash back, redeem it for groceries, or pretty much whatever you want to buy, then that may be a better option for you. The next is analyzing your spending patterns. Now, if you spend a lot at places that have higher earn rates with rewards cards, then that may be the way to go, whereas some cashback cards have higher earn rates on things like recurring payments, and if a large part of your spend comes from things like that, then that may be the way to go. The last thing you really want to do is look at some of the annual fees. It's really hard to justify spending $700 on a piece of metal every year when a card a fifth of the cost would have most of the benefits and comes with pretty similar earn rates. Let's compare a rewards and a cashback card and see who might benefit from some of the perks of one or the other. We're going to compare the CIBC Dividend Visa Infinite to the Aeroplan Visa Infinite. Now, if you spend a lot on gas and groceries, the 4% on the dividend definitely outdoes the 1.5 points per dollar you get from the Aeroplan. For travel with Air Canada, it's obviously going to be better on the Aeroplan co-branded card, so that's no real surprise. For things like dining, transportation, and recurring payments, both tend to be about even, but obviously if you earn cash back, you can redeem it for whatever you want, and with Aeroplan points, you have to redeem them for Aeroplan. So you just have to go through your monthly spend, see what would make more sense for you in this case, and then get that card. Before we wrap up this video, let's do a pretty quick recap about cashback and rewards cards. Cashback cards earn cash back on all your purchases, and you earn all this back at the end of the month or at the end of the year in some cases. Rewards cards earn reward points in the case of a airline's frequent flyer miles, or sometimes a bank's in-house points currency. Now, these points tend to have much higher value if you can extract the maximum value out of them, but in some cases this may be pretty challenging. Choosing what's best for you really just comes down to what your goals are. If you want to travel a lot or have that opportunity, and you really want some of the perks that come in some of these rewards cards, then that may be the best way to go. Otherwise, if you want to keep it super simple, a cashback card is almost the best way to go in that sense. My first card was a cashback card because I wanted to keep it really simple, but after about 6 months I decided let's make things a little bit more interesting, and I just got a rewards card. You just have to kind of take a look at what all your goals are, how much you spend in each category, and then look at some cards that offer elevated earn rates in that category and see if they're cashback or rewards cards. This honestly doesn't take very long. If you spend about half an hour at the beginning of the year just seeing if the card you currently have meets your needs the best, or if it's time to switch to a different card, you can be pretty sure that you have the best card for your personal situation. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please give it a like, and if you really loved it, please subscribe, as we have a lot more content like this coming out in the future. And with that, we'll see you next week.